from Bharatiya Muslim Mahila Andolan that loosely translates into the Indian Muslim women's movement. We get asked this question very often, that what led to the formation of Bharatiya Muslim Mahila Andolan? What led to so many Muslim women coming together? So when I look back, it was a process of some 2.5 to 3 years. Way back, following the developments of 9/11 in 2001 and the communal violence in India in 2002 in the state of Gujarat where I belong. It was following that we had started kind of being made aware very intensely about our Muslim identity. I must say here that India is a multicultural, multi-religious society with a constitution which gives all Indian citizens equal rights. So what happened was, following the riots of 2002, there was a kind of an upheaval in society. There was a kind of tension based on your identity of being a Muslim. Being Muslim raised a lot of eyebrows everywhere. And there was also a kind of, stereotyping which was happening, which all of us were feeling. So in the wake of the communal violence, some of us met each other. When I was working in the relief camp in Ahmedabad, where I belong, that's when I happened to meet some other women who had come from different parts of the country to volunteer there. And we immediately struck a kind of a friendship. We struck a kind of a bond as women and as Muslim women. And as women who were undergoing certain kind of, mental processes, because what was happening around us in society, it was affecting us. And that is when we, informally started talking to each other. This must have been around 2004, it went way into 2005, into 2006. We all became friends and we started, being in touch with each other. We started talking to each other. I would visit another city, then I would stay with one of them. Similarly, we were becoming a very informal group of women who identified as Muslim women, but who all believed in democracy, who believed in secularism, and most importantly, we all believed in justice and equality. And what were we talking about? We were talking about things like why are we not equal at home? Why are we not equal in the family? Why are we not equal in the society? So we were, it's not as though we were very strong believing Muslims. No, we were all average women with average kind of belief, and we all continue to be secular as citizens in a multicultural country. But we were asking these questions, that if we are being marginalized, if we don't have a voice of our own, what are the factors which are responsible? And these discussions lasted amongst us in a very informal manner over a period of roughly 2.5 to 3 years, where we ended up, we arrived at a kind of a diagnosis, for the lack of a better word, we arrived at a kind of a diagnosis of our situation. And we felt that we have not been able to become equal Muslims at home, inside the family, in the community. And we have not been able to become equal citizens in a society, in a democratic society. And the factors responsible are the factors of discrimination, the factors of patriarchy, the factors of dominance and hegemony. And these, who are the people? Who are the people who sort of signify these factors for us? So quite clearly it was, because we are a democracy, we hold the government accountable on all issues concerning justice and equality. So we felt at once, we were very clear that the various governments in our country, democratically elected governments, have failed to, sort of enable us, the Muslim women, to become equal citizens, despite of the constitutional promises and despite of the constitutional guarantees. So that was one set of people who were responsible for our condition. And another equally important set of people who are responsible, we thought, for our condition, for the Muslim woman being voiceless, are the patriarchal conservative elements, the men of religion, who have planted themselves as leaders of the entire Muslim community. The men who justify a second-class citizen or a second-class status for women. The men who justify male superiority inside the family, in marriage, in relationships, in society. The men who believe that a woman's place is within the four walls of a home. So we felt that these men who are in our multicultural society, these men who have sort of self-appointed themselves as spokespersons for the entire Muslim community, have never represented the feelings of Muslim women. They have never represented what are the kind of problems, what are the kind of issues that an ordinary woman undergoes. Talk about education, talk about her right to have an independent income, talk about her position in society, talk about her right to have a codified Muslim family law. They have always pushed these issues under the carpet, and these men, all of whom have a primarily religious identity, they have very little understanding or appreciation of the cares and concerns and the issues in an ordinary Muslim woman's life in India. So we felt that we need to come together as women, and we felt that we need to take the leadership of our own issues in our own hands, because we were very clear that these patriarchal male leaders have failed to voice our concerns. They have failed to look at us as equal human beings, and that is something we decided we are no more going to accept, and we are going to change it. And at that time we had no idea that we will be ending up forming a national kind of an organization which has today over 100,000 members spread across the length and breadth of the country, and we have been able to do so many things with some modest kind of success together. At that time none of us had that idea. At that time we thought, all we felt was, what is happening in our lives is wrong. I felt what was happening in my life, the kind of abusive relationship that I was in my first marriage, I felt that was wrong. And as I was meeting more and more Muslim women, I was interacting with more and more Muslim women, I was hearing more and more of their stories, I was realizing that I was only one of the thousands of women who are undergoing similar kind of subjugation at home, similar kind of violence, emotional violence, mental violence, physical violence. And I also somewhere felt that like so many ordinary women who are fighting back, I also personally I got the strength to fight back, thanks to all these women with whom I was meeting, with whom I was interacting. And as I said, at the end of almost nearly 3 years, we arrived at this kind of a clarity that we need a national kind of a platform of Muslim women where we will, speak out ourselves for our own issues, where we will demand a share in India's democracy as women citizens, as equal citizens, equally we will demand justice at home, we will demand justice in the family, and later on, it became a, very, very fine, refined kind of a fine-tuned kind of an agenda for gender justice and for equal citizenship. And we were able to kind of, hold a conference way back in January 2007 in Delhi, which is the capital of India, where ordinary Muslim women from across, different states. In India, we have many states, and each state has its own different language, its own different culture, its own different, social, local milieu. So we were very happy that, women from so many different states, I think from 15 different states, came in our founding conference. They all came to Delhi, and, that's where we made this announcement that we are forming the Bharatiya Muslim Mahila Andolan, which is the, which will be an organization of Muslim women, led by Muslim women, based on the values of democracy, justice and equality, which, at that time we didn't have a lot of clarity, but ordinary women's ordinary belief told us that ordinary Muslim woman in India, even at that time, she had this faith that my religion is about justice and equality. And if I am denied justice, it is, because of the conservative and patriarchal elements who are dominating and who are sort of ruling my life. Be it in my relationship, be it in the larger community, be it in the society. So that kind of a thinking we had at that time, and we thought that the values of justice and equality are perfectly good values for a Muslim woman. And these are the values: democracy, equality, justice, social justice, non-discrimination. These are also the values in the Constitution of India. So we were very clear at that time, as we were forming this organization of Muslim women, we were very clear that we are going to demand our rights as equal citizens in a democracy, and we are going to demand our rights as equal Muslims. And we embarked on a whole lot of campaigns, and we zeroed it on because we were taking into account the reality of the Muslim community in India. The Muslims are the largest minority in India, but even as they are a minority, they are the second largest Muslim population anywhere in the world, after Indonesia, and of late maybe the number 2 Muslim population in the world of late may be Pakistan. But pending the population count or the census of Pakistan, there are the Indian Muslims are nearly 15% of India's population. So that makes it a really large population. So, and I must also say that Indian Muslims, despite of the constitutional guarantees and constitutional promises, remain largely poor, remain largely educationally backward, socially backward, economically backward. And also because of this backwardness and because of the patriarchal stranglehold of the conservative religious leaders, somewhere the voice of Muslim women has not come out. So at that time we thought we will change all that. So we ended up forming this organization, and we were very clear that it will be an organization which will be based on the values of democracy, justice, secularism, equality. And I'm happy to say that we have grown. We have more than 100,000 women members today, spread across the country. But we have, adhered to these values. We have been able to mobilize and organize large numbers of Muslim girls and Muslim women. And I can say with a degree of happiness that we have also been able to mobilize a number of Muslim men and young men who support us, who sort of who believe and who share the goals about the goals of the movement. So yes, it has been a very fruitful journey. So on the ground across different states, we work on the issues of education, livelihoods, health, security and law. But nationally, we work to build a progressive voice of the Muslim community, and this is a feminine voice. So we are calling for a comprehensive reform in Muslim personal law in India. I think I must give a bit of a background here. Apart from the issues of poverty and backwardness, the issues which concern the Muslim community in India, and particularly the Muslim women, is the fact that we do not have codified Muslim family laws in India. And we are governed by a law made in 1937 by the British rulers, which goes by the name Sharia Application Act. But that law is silent on the issue of triple talaq. It is silent on the issue of polygamy. It is silent on the issue of nikah halala. It is silent on the issue of age of marriage. It is silent on the very important issue of consent before marriage. It is silent on the issue of custody and guardianship of women. So, just to say that we are governed by Sharia is not good enough, because the question which afflicts the life of an ordinary Muslim woman, that whose Sharia are we talking about? Where is it written down? Is it the Sharia of the conservative patriarchal Maulana, according to whom a Muslim man is entitled to 4 wives, according to whom a Muslim man is entitled to just say talaq, talaq, talaq and throw out his wife instantly out of the home, according to whom a Muslim man can just divorce his wife in her absence without any witnesses, without any discussion, without any mediation, without any negotiation. So that is not the Sharia we accept. So we decided to change all of that, and we embarked on this whole program where we thought that we need to build an awareness amongst the girls and the youth and of course the women in the community about what are the basic principles of our constitution, both, and at the same time what are the basic principles concerning justice of the Quran. Again, we were convinced that a lot of patriarchal play lies in the interpretation, or rather misinterpretation, of the religious injunctions and diktats. Otherwise, we are asking this question, we have been asking this question over the last few years, that why is it that despite of the fact that there is no mention of the instant unilateral triple talaq in the Quran, and yet that is the commonest method of divorce in India. So, so we thought that we need to somewhere get into the middle of this. We need to engage with the religion, and we need to engage with the religion on the side of gender justice and on the side of liberal humanism. And that is what we embarked on. Of course, we took up a campaign for codification of Muslim family law. We went to the Supreme Court of India with a petition that triple talaq should be abolished and polygamy should also be abolished. And there has been a whole lot of public opinion which has been generated in the wake of this petition. We filed it in 2016. The judgment came in 2017 August in our favor. The Supreme Court of India declared triple talaq to be null and void. But what happened in the wake of this petition in the Supreme Court, there was a lot of education, a lot of awareness building, a lot of consciousness building within the Muslim women. A lot of Muslim women, ordinary Muslim women, came out. They spoke out about their plight. They spoke out about the injustice, which is happening in their life. And she spoke out about this being wrong. And she also said that she is determined not to allow some conservative Maulvis to call the shots in her life. And this led to, when one woman spoke out, it led to another speaking out, and it led to hundreds of women speaking out and thousands of women supporting it. And this led to a very large movement across the country in the, over a period of 2 years when this petition was lying in front of the Supreme Court, beginning way back in 2015, even before the petition was filed, because we had, done some research studies, the finding of which were covered widely in the media and were discussed, in the civil society. It is very interesting that in our study, when we talked to the women on the ground, and we talked to more than 5,000 women, the women were very clear that we don't want intermediaries in the form of whoever, Maulana or Maulvi or religious leader, to decide the matters concerning my life. If at all there are intermediaries, the women were very clear that they should be governed by a law, and this law should be a law passed by the Indian Parliament. So the women had a lot of clarity, the women had a lot of understanding about the suffering which they were being subjected to through triple talaq, be it something like polygamy, be it something like, you being deprived of, your right to be in a dignified home, your right to meet your children at, whenever you feel like. So, there is a lot of preparedness, a lot of readiness in women for change. Unfortunately, where the readiness is lacking is amongst the conservative patriarchal male leaders of the community. So, when we sort of publicized the findings of these studies that we were doing, what is it that the ordinary women have to say, how they are very clear that we should have a codified Muslim family law, how they are very clear that a Muslim man should not be allowed to marry a second wife when he is already married to one wife. So the woman has this clarity. So it took us a lot of effort to build this kind of a public opinion, but a lot of people helped us, a lot of ordinary people helped us, a lot of volunteers in the universities, in the educational institutes, a lot of people in the media, a lot of people in the creative community who all felt that they were all sort of mobilized to support the ordinary Muslim women in their democratic fight for gender justice, and that is how we were able to build this whole movement. And we had two legal successes. One was in the form of the Supreme Court declaring instant unilateral triple talaq as null and void, as I said. Another was we had filed another case about women's entry into the sanctum sanctorum of a Sufi shrine called Haji Ali Dargah in Bombay, because we have, some of us have grown up going to the Dargah, the Sufi shrine, in our childhood, in our youth. Till suddenly one day in 2012, the keepers of the shrine decided that women cannot be allowed entry into the sanctum sanctorum because the women are impure, because the women are second class. And that is when, we took up the whole challenge. We took them to court. We went to the Bombay High Court. We won the case in the Bombay High Court again in 2017. So, we've got legal success in these matters, but more important, or as important as the legal success, is the fact that we have been able to create a social awareness in the Muslim community that girls and women are equal, that Allah made them equal, that Allah does not discriminate against a girl from a boy. If she is being discriminated against, it is thanks to the patriarchal, conservative elements. It's not, it's not something which is ordained by the divine. And we are fighting. The struggle is continuing. We have a long way to go. And I really hope that what I have tried to put in a nutshell will make some sense to the friends here at this conference. And I thank Rida and friends for this opportunity to share our journey. Thank you.